Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. I wanted to make you aware, if you're not already aware, of Seniesa Estrada, who is the WBA Minimumweight champ and the former WBO light flyweight champ. Now, with the men, the smaller weights, you get a lot of very good matchups which slip under the radar because they are just little guys, and people think, oh, we're not interested in little guys. Well, that's where a lot of the entertainment is. And Ms. Seniesa Estrada falls into that category because she is currently 23 wins with 9 knockouts, no defeats and no draws. Little power keg of a woman, only 5'2". She calls herself Superbad and she fights like it as well. And last weekend she fought an Argentinian lady by the name of Jazmin Villarino. And Jazmin came in with 6 wins, 1 defeat and 2 draws, only 1 knockout on a win ledger. But as they say, looks, records can be deceptive. Records are for DJs. That's what they always say. Yeah. And she gave her a very good fight. Again, this was for the WBA minimum weight title. But Seniesa Estrada, 30 years old, orthodox fighter, although she does switch it quite a bit. She did in this fight, certainly in the early rounds. The favourite to beat Villarino, 32 years old. I think she's listed as being an inch shorter, so she's like just over 5 feet tall. And yeah, this was a really good fight that did inevitably slip under the radar. It was on the ESPN card, and it was a very good fight. I recommend you go dig it out. I think it's available on YouTube, at least as I'm doing this video. Sometimes I take them off, of course, because of copyright reasons. But go and have a look at it if you can. It was a fight that started very slowly. The first 2 rounds, not a great deal happened. And interestingly, Seniesa Estrada, who has this super bad slugging reputation with good cause, if you've seen her fight before, she was backing off. Not running, but, on the back foot. And Ms. Villarino was coming forward. And you thought, this is interesting because normally Superbad likes to get bad. But Villarino was the one moving forward. And I thought, well, I know it's only 10 2-minute rounds. Don't get me started on the 2-minute rounds or the 10-round distance for world title fights. But it's only 20 minutes of boxing. Maybe Estrada just thinks, I'll have an easy night. I'll just kind of jab my way to it. Now, Estrada is not the most fluid of punchers. That is to say, she doesn't fire sharp punches. She's more of a Joe Joyce. I mean, there the similarity ends. But she likes to throw quite sort of forced overhand thudding punches. There isn't a lot of sharpshooting, not a lot of slick straight punches. And in the 3rd round, interestingly, Villarino finally got close to her. And then a fight broke out, a real fight broke out, because Estrada, having boxed on the back foot, probably to orders, suddenly the girl was up close, the opponent was up close. She thought, okay, now we can have a fight. It's almost like the reins were off her. And she just went slugging for Villarino. And they were in middle of the ring, exchanging punches. Estrada, despite the fact she has, like I say, these overhand pushed punches, seemed to be landing the heavier shots. She does have 9 KOs in her 23 wins. Villarino didn't take a step backwards, not at all, was quite content to throw a lot of punches, but a lot of them did look like they were sort of without rhyme or reason. They were really just, she was throwing punches. It was kind of a volume thing, trying to outwork Estrada. But Estrada at times really matched her and landed the more accurate shots. The fight goes on with this pattern in mind. Estrada still, quite content to be on the back foot boxing, and I'm convinced, I don't know for certain, I couldn't understand any of the Spanish that was spoken between rounds with Estrada and her team. She is an class as an American fighter, but she's obviously of Mexican ancestry or descent. But I think they were saying box, 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 and Estrada was like, no, I want to fight, 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 fight. In fact, she did both in this fight. And maybe they're trying to turn her into a box fighter because they think that slugging style won't work with everyone, which is reasonable thinking. But Estrada, there's no doubt she likes a good punch-up. And whenever Villarino got close, the punches were unloaded. Now, credit Villarino, because like I say, this was her first title fight. She'd only had 9 previous fights. 6 wins, only 1 knockout, and yet there she was trying to get up close and personal and land the heavier hands. And she did. She never ever took a step back. She never stopped trying. Towards the end of the fight, she had a very, very ugly purple sort of bruising come swelling underneath her left eye, which ironically matched her boots. You know these women, they like to accessorize. I'm just kidding. But yeah, most of the rounds were going to Estrada. I scored this, I think it was 98, 92. Was it 97, 93? I think it was 98, 92. All 3 judges had this for Estrada, 100 to 90. I think that's very unfair on Villarino, because even in the last 2 rounds with that big, ugly welt, she was throwing punches, getting up close. There was not a lot of clinching in this fight, not a lot of mauling, despite the fact they were both very, very close to each other, phone booth stuff. And I thought it was a bit unkind not for no one to give her a round. I thought she did pinch 2. But there's no doubt that Seniesa Estrada is, a very, very underrated female fighter, probably because of her size. She's with this ESPN. We've heard Bob Arum's comments before about women's boxing. He's not really the biggest promoter of it, despite the fact he's got Michaela Mayer, who's an excellent fighter. One little aside, by the way, in case you think you haven't seen Estrada before, back in 2020, she fought a woman by the name of Miranda Adkins, and she knocked her out in 7 seconds. This was when she was, I think she was holding she might have held one of the light flyweight titles. But if you've seen that fight, Adkins, who had a record that you would not believe how low the opposition was, suddenly found herself in a world title fight. The bell went. She took a step out, stood there in the ring with her hands up like that, just like a robot or a punch bag. And Estrada went over and knocked her cold with a 1-2 combination. I mean cold, in 7 seconds. So you may have seen that little clip on YouTube, which is quite terrifying. How the hell Adkins ever made it to a world title fight? It's obscene, really. It's obscene. I know there is a lack of depth in the women's game, but come on, man. Someone's going to get killed if you pull that nonsense again. But anyway, that's just a little aside. Estrada is a very entertaining fighter. I think in the Ring Magazine's rankings, for what it's worth, and let's be honest, they're not worth any less than any other rankings. She's like a top 5 or certainly top 6 or 7 world pound for pound women's fighters. Very good fighter. Check her out if you can. I believe the fight with Villarino is on YouTube. Get it while you can, because they'll take it off for copyright reasons, no doubt. But have a look at her. Good fighter. Superbad. Seniesa, Superbad Estrada. Check her out. She's very, very entertaining. And let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. As always, like the video. Hit the like button. Jab the like. And smash the subscription button. Go on. You can do it. It's free. It's free. You're getting this for free. Cheers. We'll speak again sometime soon. Enjoy your weekend. And of course, as always, bye-bye for now.